Hello everyone. Before this ultimate tutorial for Tacticus Planner begins, if you are looking for specific sections, there will be timestamps in the description, and if all has gone well, the chapters should be available on the playback bar. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy. Hello everyone, this is your host Legend, and welcome back to my channel. Tacticus is a game that looks simple on the surface, but as any veteran player will tell you, there's more to the game than what you see on the surface. Between character progression, resource management, campaign planning, legendary release events, Tacticus can feel overwhelming. Thankfully, our community is not short of anyone who is very talented, and we have so many great community-made tools that can come in handy. So today, I want to focus on one of the major ones, Tacticus Planner. I know this isn't the first time I've spoken about Planner, but I feel like I did a terrible job on my initial videos I did, so I wanted to redo them and make them into one video. Alongside this, I sat down for an interview with the current maintainer of Tacticus Planner, cpunerd, and we'll cut in some of his responses as we go along. As not to make this video too long, I did not include every question I asked in that interview, and for those curious, I ideally will be releasing the full interview the day after this video goes live. Speaking of this video, we will be going only over the PC version, so it may not translate well to mobile. Generally they run quite similar, but I just want to give you a fair warning now. Let's not waste any more time and dive right in. Tacticus Planner is a community-made and community-operated tool developed entirely for the Snowprint Studios game Warhammer 40k Tacticus. It was originally created by a user known as Severin, and is currently maintained by cpunerd, also known as the Tacticus content creator Kharnage, alongside multiple fellow contributors. The tool is free to use and is frequently updated as new characters, events, and systems are introduced. Before discussing the web app, let us talk about account creation first. For those who haven't made an account and hooked it up with Tacticus API, I have a timestamp on screen so you can move past this section. Tacticus Planner can technically be used without creating an account, but doing so severely limits its usefulness. Creating an account is simple and won't take a lot of time. To make an account, click the Tacticus Planner icon in the top right and click on Register. You will be asked for a username and password only. You do not need an email address. Once your account is created, you have two options for importing your data. You can manually input all the data, or synchronize your account with an API token, which will automatically pull in all your data from your account. We are going to go forward assuming that you will use the API method. To use it, go to the official Tacticus API site, api.tacticusgame.com. Click Login in the top right, sign up with a Google account or appropriate email, then generate an API key by setting the key type, how long the key should remain active, name it, and hit generate. Please remember to not share these keys publicly with anyone that you do not trust. This has a lot of sensitive data relating to your account and should only be shared with those you trust. After copying the key, return to Tacticus Planner. Click the icon in the top right again, click on the box sync via Tacticus API, paste the key, update, and sync. If successful, all your account data will be imported. From this point on, we are good to advance to the home screen, but I want to note first that anytime you open Planner, you should sync via Tacticus API to ensure the most recent data is available to you. Coming to the home screen, it serves as a dashboard showing a set of data that includes your raids completed for the day, active and upcoming events, how many goals you have created/active, and the current event calendar for the month. From here, everything else in Tacticus Planner is organized into three main tabs: Input, Plan, and Learn. The Input tab holds all information relevant to your account, from who you own to the resources you currently have. We will be talking about each section, but in my opinion, the most important are who you own, my progress, inventory, and resources. The Who You Own subsection displays your entire roster, which by default is grouped by faction. At the top of this section, you will see an estimated Blackstone value of your account and a rough power potential. Each character cell will display the character's star count and type, rarity, rank, XP level, active and passive ability levels, and upgrade status. Locked character cells show your shard progress, except for those currently tied to an active LRE. Clicking on a character opens a detailed view showing their current stats, XP, and upgrade requirements. If the character is locked, it will show the total shards instead. For more specific ordering filtering, you have a couple of options. You can order how characters are shown by faction, Blackstone costs, raw power potential, and more. You can filter options by either their name or the options under the filter drop-down menu. This section allows you to show your data via a share your roster link. Anyone with an active version of your link will be able to see who you own and their current status, which is helpful for your guild or potential guilds to gauge your progress, or if you simply want to show your friend how far along your account is. This subsection affects nearly every other section in Planner and should be well maintained and frequently synced via your API token. Roster Snapshots uses the data in who you own to give a simple display of how your roster looks, with options to compare from one point in time to another with snapshots. This section can be used to either share your roster with a screenshot so you don't always have to give your roster link, or as stated, how things have changed from one point to another. For the second part, by clicking the Take Snapshot option, a pop-up menu lets you give a name to the snapshot, then when you press save, it will make a data point. If you have 2 or more of these, you can choose any 2 and get a display showing the updates that occurred, rather you upgraded a character, got more shards, more XP, anything. You can manage what is shown with the Manage button, which will show multiple toggleable options, and even allows you to delete a snapshot you don't like. My progress is where you track which campaigns and event campaign battles you have cleared. This data affects what battles the daily raids subsection can point you to or needed resources. I ain't gonna get too much into that since we haven't gotten around to talking about the daily raids subsection. Inventory displays all upgrade components you currently own. It is ordered alphabetically with a few basic options to filter by. And here we come to the first snippet of the interview. I asked Kharnage about the XP income subsection, and this is what he had to say about it.
That's a great question. So the XP income estimator, it can affect one other page, and that's the goals page. But really what it's there to do is to, like, people say, I get a certain amount of XP books, either Codices of War, Grimoires of War, whatever. They don't know how long it's going to take them to hit their goals. So, ranking up somebody from Stone 1 to Diamond 3 requires 199 Codices of War or 20 Grims. They don't know how long that's going to take them to get. A lot of people have no idea. Your main source of XP books are going to be probably guild raids from the guild shop, followed by, if you have characters of Blue Star already, especially residual shard characters like Snod or a Machine of War, Archaeotech. Though most people would say that that's not a good use of Archaeotech now that that's the only place to buy relics, and Arena. So what you can do is set an estimate. You can use the page under Input XP Income. It will help you estimate how many XP books you can get over a certain period of time. If you put that in, you can then go to the goals page. Now the goals page, if you sync, it will tell you based on your current roster and your current available resources such as badges, experience books, etc., how many experience books you need still to hit all of your goals. So for example, for me, I'm getting 3 units to Diamond 1, but if I look in game, I think that I have, give me a moment, I currently have 106 Grimoires of War and 185 Codices and 500 whatever the epic book is called, I don't remember. So I'm not hurting for books. So I don't have to worry about it. But let's say you have 0 books saved up because you just finally passed the gold 1 barrier and you're ranking up your first units to either Diamond 1 where you need, I think, 89 Codices of War, or Diamond 3 where you need almost 200. You're going to burn through all of your books really quickly. And what this does is it says, okay, I'm going to give you a date where you're going to finish farming all the upgrade materials. But because you have told me, the API has told me how many books you have, and you have told me how many books per day you expect to get, I can tell you when you're going to hit the amount of XP books that you need. And what that allows you to do is say, okay, well, sure, I'm going to farm these 3 characters to Diamond 3. I'm going to get all their materials. But you know what? I'm not going to get the XP books until a month later. So that can give you the luxury to do things like, okay, well then I'm going to build these 3 units to silver 1 for Guild Wars or to gold 1 for Tournament Arena, etc. Because they'll all fit in the same amount of time. I need far fewer books, and I will still hit my D3 upgrade goals at the exact same time, taking into account that I would have needed those books anyways.
Resources shows what XP books, Forge badges, orbs, and Alliance badges you currently own. Finally, the Guild tab allows you to import all your guild members who you own links into one spot. This does not replace your full guild data. If you are looking to get that, you will need to be a co-leader or leader of your guild and insert a guild API token into the appropriate spot under your profile. The plan section is where Tacticus Planner really shines. It is where the namesake of the site is done, that being, well, planning. Crazy idea, I know. To me, the most important subsections here are goals, daily raids, the under construction teams subsection, and LRE. The goals section allows you to, well, set goals for your characters. You can create goals for rank upgrades, ascensions, unlocks, machine of war abilities, and character abilities. To set a goal, you simply press the set goal button. In the pop-up menu, you set your goal type in the following options: the priority level, character it is for, and any notes you wish to add. There's also a toggleable option to ignore unlock or rarity restrictions, so you can set goals that you technically cannot fulfill yet. When a goal is made, a card displays here with the following information: the goal's priority, the target character, XP costs shown in terms of Codex of War books, estimated energy cost, and your estimated time to completion. All items and resources missing across all your goals are shown in the drop-down menu. There is a toggleable option to change the layout goals section, and another one that will color code your goals, depending on what is selected. This system feeds directly into the daily raids system. Speaking of which, daily raids uses your goals, campaign progress, and inventory data to guide where your energy should be spent based on your parameters. You can adjust your settings by clicking on the box with a gear icon. Here are the settings I personally use. Based on all your inputs, daily raids shows which components are required for your active goals, components you have the required amount of, which components cannot currently be obtained, and a suggested raid list with resource node locations. Teams 2 is a subsection that is currently under construction. In my interview with Kharnage, we talked about it, and here's what he had to say about it.
Now, what features we're working on that I'm excited about? I'm excited in general about working on the planner. There's always bug fixes. Those aren't exciting to talk about, so I'll skip them. There are a couple things that people have been asking for a lot. The first one is Guild Wars. The planner supports Guild Wars, but very, very poorly, I would say. The UI is super clunky. It works just well enough that people will reluctantly use it. You know, they kind of hold their nose, turn their head halfway away so they can barely see it, and then they make use of it. I am working on revamping that. If anybody who's listening to this has seen the planner menus recently, you'll see under plan, there's a Teams page that's in beta, never got out of beta, and a Teams 2 page that's under construction. I am working on Teams 2. And the idea there is that you'll be able to create teams however you want. You know, you just pick the units, pick the machine, or pick the heroes, pick the machines of war, create a team. You specify what modes you intend to use that team in. And if you pick things like Guild Wars, you specify which battlefield levels.
Legendary release events are probably the most important events run in Tacticus, which is why they have such a massive subsection dedicated to them. Under the LRE section of the Plan tab, you will see multiple options depending on which events are active or upcoming. You have the master table, which is always available, and the individual events, which of recording are Dante, Trajan, Farsight, Lucius, and Uthar. The master table ranks characters based on how many points they can earn across selected LREs. By default, this is set to the currently active LREs, but this can be adjusted to include ones that have expired or only a select few. Please note that master table only ranks characters by what requirements they can help in, and does not tell you who the best option is for an actual battle. You can filter what characters are shown by name or by the available filter options. These options include selected characters that are placed in individual LRE sections, characters you have unlocked, or simply every character. The point calculations filter only shows while only selected is toggled, and can be sorted by unearned points or all points from every battle they can fight in. Looking at the table itself, for each character you will see the character's position, name, rank, and rarity, their total score across all selected events, the total number of requirements they fulfill across all events, and their breakdown of the last 2 points by individual LRE. Clicking on any of the options listed above the performance section allows you to sort highest to lowest or lowest to highest by that portion. I know I'm explaining this a bit weirdly, so I'm going to more show instead of tell. Moving on and opening an individual LRE tab, which for this video I will use Lucius's section since his LRE was ongoing while I was writing my script, brings you to the team screen. This screen displays every track, who you can use against a select faction, each track's requirements, and which characters can fulfill those requirements. Before moving forward, ensure the settings for this section are set to your liking. Here are the ones I personally use. At this point, we got a couple options for setting up this section. You can simply observe who fits in where, which isn't the greatest option since it will limit the functionality of the LRE tab as a whole, so we go to option B, which is setting up teams. By clicking on a character under a requirement, you open a team building table. Here you can select a track, name the team, and how many battles you expect them to clear, and select which requirements you are looking to fulfill. Once you have filled out that information, clicking on a character under available characters will add them to the team. Clicking on one under the selected team options will remove them. This part is where game knowledge is needed since this will only show who can be used for the selected requirements, not who is most effective. Multiple teams can be created per requirement set, which allows for redundancy. As you build teams, it is important to account for requirements already fulfilled, and if possible, avoid any overlap unless a team is for said redundancy. The My Progress page within an LRE allows you to mark which battles and requirements you have fully cleared. This should automatically populate anytime you sync via your API token. The next section, Tokenomics, was one I struggled to understand and explain in my original video, so I asked Kharnage about this section.
I would then say that the next most helpful thing, and the thing that I'm most interested in, is actually legendary events, and specifically things like tokenomics. So planning your teams out, that's been there for a long time. Tokenomics was a feature that I added. I got the idea and inspiration from one of the many chats that I have with people on the Tacticus Discord. There's a chat room there that 5 or 10 other people and I kind of started and has grown. And something that people wanted. Basically, you know, Tacticus is a resource management game. Legendary events are a great example of that. You have a finite amount of tokens in any given legendary event. If you're free to play, it's 68, I believe. And if you're paid to play, you can get, I think, an additional 6 or 74. And if you do not use your tokens optimally, that could be the difference between, for example, getting 4 or 5 stars on the unit's first legendary event versus not even unlocking them. There were lots of people who had that issue, and you saw many old school players of Tacticus. I know it sounds funny to use that term because it's only 3 years old, who have done things like create super complicated spreadsheets to try to map out all their units, all the restrictions, figure out which units can be used for what, how far their unit can go, etc. And tokenomics can't tell you how far any particular team can go, but if you can build your teams and tell it how far you think each team will go, it can tell you the most efficient usage of your existing tokens, and that will help you get the highest unlock possible.
The battle tabs allows you to preview specific fights, showing enemy waves, the power of each individual wave, and their total power combined. The leaderboard tab functions similarly to the master table, but is only limited to that LRE. Again, this only ranks characters by what requirements they can help in, does not tell who is actually a good option for LREs. Campaign progression is the final option under the Learn tab. This subsection will show which nodes you need to unlock if you are missing nodes for your goals, or will show how unlocking some nodes will save you energy and how much. Before attempting to use it, ensure you have goals set and all your most recent data saved in the Input tab. We now come to the final tab in Tacticus, the Learn tab, which is a section dedicated to things like guides, what upgrades do for a character, and much more than I can summarize in one sentence. From the options available here, I would say that home screen events, Dirty Dozen, and Guild are the most important options available. Starting in the massive Tacticus section, we see options for rank lookup, machine of war lookup, characters, NPCs, upgrades, equipment, campaigns, and home screen events. Rank lookup allows us to choose a character, a start and end rank, an option to clarify 0.5 rankings, and then it will show each and every resource needed to achieve that rank and where they can be found. One of the questions I asked Kharnage ended up tying into this section, and his answer was too good to not be included in this video.
Yes, there is one change that has been absolutely very poorly received, and until people really understand the motivation behind it and what the fix was, they hate it. So if you go to the Learn Rank Lookup page, there you can say, here's a unit, here's a starting rank, here's an ending rank. Tell me what materials I need to hit my rank up goal. Now, this is a bit long, but I think that it needs to be explained because we have explained this so many times and people still don't necessarily get it. The Learn page is supposed to be, to use a very technical term, hermetic. It should not be influenced by anything in your inventory, in your roster, etc. We should be able to take the static data obtained from data mining and recreate every single thing on the Learn page identically for every user. Whoever wrote the rank lookup page at first was displaying not only the number of each material that you needed, but the number of each material that you currently had and how many remaining materials you would need to hit that goal. This created a lot of confusion because let's say you go to look up the rank lookup for Titus from Stone 1 to Gold 1. You probably need about like 8 to 10 days of materials, if I'm not mistaken. And so it tells you, okay, you need this many things, and you say, oh, great, I can go farm all that really quickly because I have a bunch of that. And so 2 days later, you come back and it shows that you farmed everything, but you haven't quite unlocked Titus yet. And meanwhile, you're still going over and farming for your other goals. And eventually you say, great, guess what? I just got Bellator to Gold 1, or I unlocked Calgar in the Christmas 2025 event. So I also got him to Gold 1. And then suddenly you go back to the rank lookup page and you see, wait a second, now it's telling me that Titus needs way more materials than I needed before. What's going on? The problem here is that the rank lookup page, again, is not supposed to take into account anything under the Learn menu, should not take into account state. It should be stateless. It should only be stuff that's derived directly from data mines, nothing to do with anything you've input or anything that we can sync from the API. People were freaking out because they're used to seeing a brand new character, we just got Vin and Uthar, or Baldur. And so they go to the rank lookup page and they say, oh, great, what do I need to get Baldur up? Oh, well, I need 82 mule in order to get him from Stone 1 to Diamond 3. But why doesn't this tell me how many I have? I just want to know how many of those things I need to farm. And the reality is we can't, those are two different questions. If you want to know how much it takes to get a character from A to B, the planner can tell you that. If you want to know how much it takes to get a character from A to B, given your existing inventory, you need to go to the goals page. You need to add a goal to get that character from A to B, and then you need to prioritize it properly because any existing materials that you have are consumed in priority order. So if you don't tell us the priority of that goal, we can't give you a legitimate answer as to how long it's going to take to farm this thing. That's the change. You can imagine why people are upset about it. What we have told them is just go to the goal, add the goal, and go to the raids page, and it will give you the exact same information, but it will be accurate respecting the goals that you have already. Usually about once every 2 to 3 weeks. So when we first made this change, we had a massive uproar. Everybody on Discord was pissed off about it because they didn't, and we just had to keep telling them, this isn't gone. The feature is not gone. Just go to the raids page and you can get all this information. And people still didn't quite understand what was going on. So eventually I even made a 5-10 minute video explaining what we did. And now whenever we show somebody that video and take the time to explain it to them, they go, okay, you know what? That actually makes sense. Sorry for causing a stir. I get it now. But we still have so many people who just stumble upon the fact that the rank lookup page has changed. And, I think we made that change 4 months ago, and then they get all up in arms about it. Again, I think that once people understand the reasoning behind the change and understand that the functionality is not gone, it has just moved, everyone's okay with it, but we still get people coming and screaming at us about it at least once every few weeks.
Machine of War lookup is the same as rank lookup, but with a choice machine of war instead. The character subsection allows us to look at every character in Tacticus, where they are currently in our roster, and compare them to an endpoint. This endpoint is a target rarity, stars, and rank. This section also has multiple filters, from the ability to search by name, if the character is owned, hits, attack type, movement, their attack range, damage type, traits, and alliance. The NPC section allows you to select a faction, NPC from said faction, and NPC level so that you may get an idea of the stats of a given NPC at the rank and rarity milestones you will see in game. Upgrades is a massive repository of each component in Tacticus. It will show the upgrade icon, name, rarity, the stat it improves, what crafted upgrade it can be used in, and where it can be found. Using the quick filter option, you can search for an upgrade by name. Under selection, you can choose base upgrades or craftable. By default, this should be set to base upgrades. Switching to craftable shows every crafted upgrade by icon, name, rarity, stat it increases, if it is used in a crafted upgrade, and what you need to craft it. At any time, toggling show characters will also show what characters use that base upgrade / crafted upgrade and at what ranks. Equipment is a repository in much the same vein as upgrades, but instead for the items you equip to your characters. They are listed by icon, name, rarity, what slot they are applied to, what they boost and how much by level, and if they are a relic. You can use quick filter to search by name. Toggling show characters should show you who can equip it. Campaigns allows you to select a campaign and see each battle and their NPCs, which includes their rank, how many units can be deployed, and the energy cost. You can toggle how this page looks. This section will also tell you each and every 3-man battle and which battles those are. Finally, we have home screen events, which allows you to select a home screen event and what campaigns should be considered in its calculations. There is a toggleable option to include battles with no rewards. Once you have filled in your parameters, you will be given a list of battles and how they correspond to the given home screen event. They are sorted by points per energy, points, cumulative points, energy cost, cumulative energy cost, reward, and reward drop chance. By default, all campaigns are selected. This repository only sorts by efficiency for the home screen event selected. If you want to optimize the mix between home screen event and your daily raids, you need to do that in the settings for the daily raids section. The guide subsection is exactly what it sounds like. When someone makes a guide, they must select what game mode it is for, what the sub mode is if applicable, like in the case of guild raids, where you must specify what boss or prime. Then they will give a team name, an intro name to the guide, a YouTube link in specific cases like referencing a Nandy video, then they write the actual guide itself, and then finish by selecting characters for the guide. A final preview screen will show up to ensure all data is correct, and then it can be added to the presented guides. You can filter for specific guides by creator name, specific characters and/or machine of wars, and what game mode you need the guide for. If you find a guide particularly useful, you can honor it by clicking the heart icon. Honored guides are added to your honored tab. My Teams simply shows any guide you have made. Dirty Dozen is based on Nandy's Dirty Dozen series. It uses his videos to show how the top 30 characters scored in the selected version of said Dirty Dozen. I don't have much more to add on to this part since it's rather straightforward. Insights allows you to see the average roster of every Tacticus Planner account combined. It shows data in the same method as the Who You Own section, with the same filters and ordering options. Note it has been some time since Insights has been updated, so it's not very accurate for how Tacticus looks right now. The guild section allows co-leaders and leaders to use their guild API token to get analytics about their entire guild. I'm not going to show too much from inside this section since it has some sensitive information contained within. Just know that if your guild has an API token and you are a co-leader or leader of said guild, there is a lot of useful information here. Unfortunately, I couldn't get guild insights to load when I was making my script, so I cannot speak for what it is for. Given the name, I'm going to guess it works similarly to the insights section, but instead for your guild data, but I am grasping at straws here. With that, we have covered every major topic in Tacticus Planner. This was a long video, no doubt, but I hope this ultimate tutorial to Tacticus Planner proves most useful to you. If you watched the whole thing, all I can say is thank you. You are an absolute mad lad. I also have to give thanks to Severin, Kharnage, and the Tacticus Planner community for making this video even possible. I had a great time interviewing Kharnage, had great help from the Planner community, and it is only fair to include Severin, who laid the groundwork for this site to be even possible. Although Tacticus Planner is free to use, the site itself does not run for free, and would do even better with your support. If you are able and willing, you can donate to Tacticus Planner to help pay for the upkeep and servers that it relies on. A link to where you can donate will be in the description alongside a link to the Tacticus Planner Discord. Speaking of which, the Tacticus Planner Discord is the best spot to contribute and report any bugs you happen upon. One last time, here's Kharnage speaking on that and the wrap up of the interview.
Oh, it's very easy. Go to the Tacticus Planner Discord. You can go to the #general channel and then just say, hey, I found this bug. Can somebody verify that it's actually a bug as opposed to me not understanding what the planner does? Or if you have a feature request, just say, hey, I was thinking about working, or I think that this would be really nice to have in the planner. What do you think? And then typically the response you're going to get is, that sounds great. We need to prioritize it. It might be half a year, or that sounds great. Any chance you know how to code and want to contribute it? But if it's something that we look at and say, wow, that would actually be really cool. I can't believe we never thought of that before. That's something that we would jump on. So I had actually, if you go to the input resources page, the top left, the first thing that you'll see there is XP books. When I really took over from Severin, he had not synced things like books, badges, machine of war components, orbs, etc. And I just said, like, that stuff is so easy to get out of the API. Let's just get it and show it to people so they can look at it real quick. So that XP book planning that I talked about, somebody said, you know what? I've been playing for 3 years and I've never used a common XP book, and I have something like literally over 10,000 of them. Don't tell me to use them all to meet my rank up goals, because I'm just not going to, and then the planner is going to lie to me. So he suggested in the general channel that we just add an option to select which XP books we want to use when we build units. And we said, you know what, that makes perfect sense. It's easy enough to do. And like 2 days later, we hit done. We've also had people suggest things like automatic team picking for legendary events, and we've told them, I'm sure that would be helpful for some people, but it's just not something we're going to do. All of these discussions typically happen in general, and if we feel that they're actually going to be really worthwhile, we also have a threaded feature request channel that you can pop into and add something there, and we'll go over it. Oh yeah, so 2 questions ago. Is there anything else I would like to add? We happily accept all players who want to use the planner. It's a free resource. We like it when you use it. It is free, but it's not free for us to run. If you do find yourself in the position where you can donate, there's a link on the homepage and I think on the LRE Tokenomics page.
And also in the description.
And there will be a link in the description. Thank you for that. Where you can donate. Every little bit counts. What I can tell you is that I think we have about 10,000 weekly active users, and if even 1% of them donated $1 a month, I think that covers all of the server costs and ensures that we can keep this running. Now, where you can find me, the easiest place is actually in the Planner Discord. I always read general. I tend to read every bug report and feature request, but I've tried very hard to not always respond to them because we have some other volunteers who will jump in there. The other place where you'll find me, and it's much more active, is if you go to the Tacticus Discord, there's a help how do I channel, and there's a thread there called how do I hide part. That is my usual hunt. That's the sub channel that some friends and I created some time ago because we were spamming the help how do I channel with our own banter. You can find all things Tacticus and Planner related in there. We talk about everything.
As usual, I will have links to other community resources in the description. Finally, as a reward for sticking with me through this long video, I have a code for you all to give you some goodies in game. The code is on screen and will be in the description. With that, this video can finally come to an end. This is your host, Legend, signing off.